This is Blender, and we are going to be working with creating a simple image, a simple low poly animation of a fish, and then actually giving it bones and animating it, watching it move and such. It'll be a great introduction to adding structure, to adding bones and animation to a creation. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to click on General and Perfect. So first, we're going to load up our fish image. I'll show you real quick. I'll post a link to this. It's just Wikimedia Commons. So this is a public domain image. It is free to use, and I will be posting it, Creative Commons 4. I'll be posting a link to this in the description. So let's go ahead and delete our block here. So I'm going to click on it, Object, Delete. Awesome. And then I'm going to click X. So blue, green, great. And now add, and I've already downloaded the image. So add image, background, and mine should be named. Oh, that's not the right spot. Fish. And I'm going to go ahead and load this up. Perfect. Let's zoom in. And let's create a quick low poly animation of this. So add mesh plane. And we can't see it, so I need to turn it. There we are. And I'm just going to make that 90. That's going to be 0. And that's going to be 0. All right. And let's go ahead now into edit mode. I'm going to be on that, and I'm going to select nothing. And so now we're just going to kind of be moving the vertex around to cover our fish. I'm going to start at this front half. And it's not going to be perfectly accurate. I'm going to avoid putting, well, I'll show you. I'm going to put only one plane above, around where the fins go. And you'll see why. So, awesome. And now I want to go ahead and start building it back. So I'm going to get our select tool. I'm going to grab these two. Go back to this. But vertex, edge, extrude edges. Just enough to cover this first fin. I'm going to click off. But I'm going to have this be mostly covered by a different one. Okay. Yeah. So, and I'm going to hold down the shift key. I've selected two of them now. I guess I can zoom in some. And the reason I did that is so I can do this. And that way I can make our fins. And you might want to make yours a bit more accurate than mine. The more detail, the better, right? So I can do shift here, and I can do edge, extrude edge again, make that a bit smaller, kind of rounding it off. Something like that, maybe. And now up here, I'm going to click here and here. I'm just going to go up to there, click off, click it. And now I'm going to hit shift. I could also do this again. Those 2 points. And maybe something like that. Great. This and this. And I am going to cover the entire space where this fin is completely. Awesome. And then I'm going to actually just ignore this. It's a smaller and less important fin, and we do not need it for our animation. So I'm just going to leave it alone. They don't have them on all of the varieties of the fish anyways. Select that, edge, shoot edge, right here-ish, go, click. I'm going to flatten that out some. All right, now we have this part of the fish. Let's go ahead and work on this fin here. And boom. Just going to go to the far one. Perfect. Something like that. And then the front of it. And the small fin on top of the body we will be ignoring. And that will be great for now. So we have a completely flat fish. And if I turn it, completely flat. I'm going to zoom out. And what I want to do now is select all. There we are. And let's go ahead and extrude faces. I'm going to start pulling, giving it a shape. Okay. And so mine's at 0.5. That's a pretty good. Let's do 0.4 though. So I'm going to do 0.4. That is exactly what I want. And I'm going to click off. Awesome. And now let's set up mirror mode. So actually we'll be fine. So we're going to go object. All right. And in object mode, I'm going to select, well, here, let's go ahead and whoop. Make sure you're selected. All right. And now what we need to do is head over here, modifiers, add a modifier, mirror. And so that's not looking right. Maybe I need to do that or that. Or there we are. Z axis. Okay. So now that I have that, we're not going to hit apply just yet. You're going to go to edit mode. And now in edit mode, let's start messing with these. So I'm going to use this now, because if I move just one point, it tears it apart. But now I'm going to be moving every point in that line. And notice what it's doing here. Okay, so it might be easier to go to about like that. I'm going to fast forward through me editing the fins, but I do recommend wireframe mode, and make sure to use the select tool so you select not just one vertex, but the vertex or the vertices under that one. It's much easier once you have a 3D object, so make sure to use select. I'm going to fast forward. All right. And now let's do a loop cut, and then we're going to get to adding struck bones. So this is a loop cut, and quitcha. And the reason we're doing that is so we can provide a bit more dimension to our fish. If it's doing this, make sure you have, so I'm going to edit, undo, clipping, there. Okay. And I can already see maybe something like back here because of what I did with the fins. I might want to kind of edit that on my own. But regardless, ta-da, we have our fish. Okay, and now that we have our fish, as promised, I would like to do some bone setup with it. To do that, we are headed to Edit, Object Mode. I'm going to click off, or select, none. And we got a fish. What we want to add is I'm going to click Add and Armature. And suddenly we have a bone right up here. Can't really see it, so I'm going to click over here. And viewport in front. There we are. Okay. So first I'm going to resize this. So let's go ahead and grab this guy and shrink it down to, sure, I'm going to do 0.6, 0.6, 0.6 for scale. Okay, and so over here, there we are. Okay. And then now what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and rotate it. We want it to be actually something like this. And let's move it back. Okay. So what I want from this now is I'm going to go into, and now I want to do Armature, Extrude. And if you pull, ta-da, you'll get another one. So we're going to want to resize this one a bit. Maybe something like this. Okay. And then we're going to do the other fin. And these might not be exact, and that is fine. We are just learning how to work with these. Armature, extrude. And right now we're not in the body entirely. Which is not a huge deal. We're just going to resize. These things are somewhat, these bones are somewhat forgiving to work with, which is nice. So that one's better. And this one. Awesome. Okay. And now here. Oops. Edit mode's good. Hatch it. Extrude. And now we're headed this way. And we're going to do some larger bones. And notice that I'm falling off on Y here. I can tell. Okay. So all we have to do is to get this in line, we're going to want that at 0. And that's fine. Oh, let's just see where we edit undo. Let's just see where we went astray. Ah. And it's really easy to do that. We do need to be paying attention. Okay. And now extrude. You can always click on X or Y to lock these on a certain axis if you want to make sure you're not doing that. And I guess I'll continue to do that just to make sure. And I'll do one more to the nose. Evening these guys up some. Perfect. All right. And then let's have one going out to this fin. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to click Armature and Extrude again. Just pull it straight up. And we could even do a little one if we want. And let's make sure we are all contained. That's looking great. Awesome. Great. So we have all that ready to go. So now what we're going to do is start modeling it. So I'm going to go from edit mode to pose mode. And let's go back to, I'm going to change this visibility. In front. Okay, just so we can see. And so here's how our fish starts off, right? And then maybe we want to, let's see, we're going to make our fish start swimming. So I'm going to and let's do, we want location and rotation. So I'm going to inset that at 1. Okay. And then at 24, which is the default frame rate, I'm going to go ahead and rotate our fish. I forgot to force it to animate. I need to go to object mode, and I'm selecting the full object first, and then I'm going to hit shift and grab the bone second, and we want to parent, so object parent, and with automatic weights. Great. Let's try this again. But and here we have our fish swimming. Okay. And so now I want to, I want to take a pose, animation, inset keyframe, location, and rotation is what we want. Pose. And then we can even do selecting, let's see, let's go ahead to 48 or 70. And if I hit record, I can kind of go nuts. So maybe I want to move the fish a bit like that. And then back here, I want the fish to turn a bit with its fin and turn a bit this way because it's twisting weird. I don't know. And then let's have it go a bit like that, having its fin push forward. And then we can have its head to start turning. There's something going on. What's going on? And the whole fish is kind of turning to look back. All right. And then, ta-da! And now, if I go all the way back to the beginning, hitting this, start, it's at 1, and let's play. We can watch our fish move. And maybe we want to go crazy. So maybe at 100, I am going to hit select all. I'm going to make the fish jump. Okay, and then I want the whole thing to rotate. Because it's jumping. Wow. Right? And as it jumps, I'm going to I want the head to rotate back towards where it was. And let's do the same. Okay. And now at 130, I'm going to select all. I'm going to rotate all, actually. What? Maybe something like this. And then I'm going to use this bone here and rotate just this bone this way because the fish's body, as it enters, is twisting. Ta-da. Okay. And now let me turn that off, go to the beginning, and hit play. Boosh. So that's a really simple animation to show you how powerful and how cool this feature of Blender is. So if I get rid of in front, right, I go all the way back to 1 or 0. I'm going to go now into edit mode. And back in edit mode, notice it pushes back, which is great because I want to add, actually I'm going to head to object mode. I'm going to select my little thing and I want a material for my fish. I don't know what color I want, but it's going to be great. Glossy. Maybe something like that. 0.2. Fish. And now that I have a fancy material, I'm going to zoom out and let's just watch it one more time. Hi fish, and jump, roar, boosh. So you can really tell how versatile and how useful it is in animation to have this bone structure and be able to move it around and just hit record and have the camera create the motions or have Blender create the motions in between. It's a really powerful tool and something that you want to get the hang of early on so you can make incredible projects. If you're watching this, if you're still watching this, if you kind of watch this, you should hit like, you should hit subscribe. It gives me warm fuzzies. It's all world peace and things and helpful. And yeah, you should do that. If you make something really awesome, you should post or comment about it below.